Hello everyone, and welcome back to Warth Stories. I hope you all had a warm, joyful Thanksgiving filled with love and laughter, surrounded by family who cherish you. Our Thanksgiving was a mix of tender moments and absolute chaos, overshadowed by my mother's descent into what I can only call madness. If you're new here, check out my previous video on Warth Stories for the full backstory. It's a wild ride. Tonight, I'm sharing an update on my family drama, but also something deeply personal that's weighing on me. My wife, Elena, is at a fancy gala with a client, and I'm sitting here, alone, wrestling with unease while she shines under the chandeliers. This is raw, unfiltered, and real, so let's dive in. Let's start with my younger sister, Claire, who's always been a mirror image of our mother. Entitled, bratty, and manipulative. Like Mom, she thought baby-trapping her boyfriend would secure her future, a plan that backfired spectacularly. While my other siblings and I distanced ourselves from her drama, Claire clung to Mom, practically worshipping her. When Mom was arrested for her reckless behavior, details in my last Warth Stories video, she had the nerve to blame me, saying I'd torn our family apart. She even threatened to kick my ass if she saw me. I brushed it off, knowing her loyalty to Mom blinded her to the truth, but it stung, like a paper cut that won't stop bleeding. A few nights ago, at 4 a.m., Elena woke me up, her voice low and urgent. "Claire's on the porch," she said, peering through the blinds. My heart raced. "What do we do? Call the cops?" she asked, her eyes wide. I didn't like Claire, and it was the middle of the night. My first instinct was to dial 911. After all, what was she doing at our house at that hour? But I'm 44, not some hot-headed kid, so I decided to handle it with words. I pulled on a hoodie, the chilly air biting my skin as I stepped onto the porch, and told her to leave. "Claire, it's 4 a.m., and I don't want you here. Go." She didn't move. In the dim glow of the porch light, I saw her face, tear-streaked, eyes swollen, and in her arms, a tiny bundle wrapped in a blanket. Her newborn son, Noah. Her voice cracked, barely above a whisper. "Living with Mom is hell. I can't go back. Please." This wasn't the Claire I knew, the smug, defiant sister who'd thrown insults at me and my autistic daughter, calling us retarded, a word that cuts deep, especially since Elena suspects I might be on the spectrum too. She was broken, desperate, a shadow of herself. I asked why I should help after everything. Siding with Mom, hurting my family, dragging us through her mess. How do I know this isn't a trap? I pressed, my voice sharp. She just sobbed, begging, her body trembling like a leaf in a storm. Something shifted in me. The big brother instinct I thought I'd buried years ago, the one I'd metaphorically hit with a shovel and left in the backyard, clawed its way back. I sighed, turning to Elena. "Get her inside." Elena hesitated, her brow furrowed, but she nodded and opened the door. When Claire stepped into the living room's light, she looked like a ghost, pale, matted hair, dark circles like bruises under her eyes. We sat on the couch, the hum of the heater the only sound, and talked for hours. It was raw, messy, emotional, like peeling back layers of scar tissue from old wounds. Claire broke down, apologizing for everything. She got on her knees, tears streaming, begging for forgiveness, for siding with Mom, for her cruel words to me and my daughter, for dragging Elena into her apologies. She pleaded not to be sent back to Mom's house, her voice shaking with fear. As we talked, I learned just how bad things had gotten. Mom had spiraled into full-blown abuse, hitting and screaming at Claire even when she did everything right. Growing up, I'd always taken the hits for my siblings. If Claire drew on the walls with crayon, I'd say it was me to spare her Mom's wrath. As the oldest, it was my duty to protect them, even if it meant bruises on my own skin. But now, Claire was on her own, and Mom's behavior had escalated to a level of depravity I couldn't fathom. Mom was having loud, reckless sex with random men all over the house. In the living room, the kitchen, even Noah's nursery, where his tiny crib sat surrounded by stuffed animals. Worse, she was popping pills, spiraling into addiction, and trying to drag Claire into it. She'd wave them in my face, saying it'd make me feel better, Claire whispered, her voice hollow with exhaustion. Then came the bombshell, Mom was the one who called CPS on us. In my last Warth Stories video, I forgot to mention the CPS worker who showed up with the police, investigating false claims that I was abusing my daughter and Elena. The accusations ranged from physical to sexual abuse, and while I suspected Mom was behind it, I had no proof until Claire confirmed it. Mom had even planned to file for grandparents' rights, a desperate bid to control us, but thankfully, that's not a thing in our state. As we talked, Noah stirred in his crib, his cries piercing the quiet. Claire flinched, covering her ears and screaming at him to shut up. She collapsed into sobs, admitting she couldn't handle motherhood. "I love him, but I can't do this," she cried, her hands shaking. "I'm not cut out for it." I asked about the money Mom always seemed to have. In my previous video, I mentioned our family's theory that our grandfather paid Mom to get a hysterectomy after she inherited a chunk of money from our grandmother. Claire confirmed it wasn't a theory. Mom had baby rabies and pressured Claire, at just 14, to poke holes in her condoms to get pregnant, promising to help raise the baby. But since Noah's birth, Mom hadn't lifted a finger, only using him for social media clout, dressing him in shirts that said, "Grandma's baby," for her followers to fawn over. I pressed Claire about Noah's father. She admitted he left after she confessed to baby trapping him, unable to handle the betrayal. The housemaids and nannies? Mom fired them during a mental breakdown, leaving Claire to fend for herself. And Claire's dad? He'd given up on her years ago after her betrayals. She broke down, saying she couldn't care for Noah, that she loved him but didn't want the responsibility. She hadn't slept in days, her body and mind on the verge of collapse. I told her to rest while I took care of Noah and tried contacting her dad. That night, I called her dad, explaining the situation and urging him to help. He was cold, adamant that he wanted nothing to do with Claire after she'd chosen Mom, and even told him she wished her stepdad was her real father. I understood. Claire had hurt him deeply, twisting the knife with her betrayal. But I pressed, mentioning Noah, his grandson, which shocked him. He didn't even know Claire was pregnant. With a heavy sigh, he said he'd see what he could do. I hung up, feeling a mix of hope and frustration, and checked on Noah. He was tiny, innocent, caught in the crossfire of our family's dysfunction, his little chest rising and falling as he slept. Claire slept for 2 days straight, her body finally giving in to exhaustion. Meanwhile, Mom realized Claire was gone and reported her missing, spiraling into a frenzy. I called my granddad to reassure him that Claire was safe and shared what she'd told me. I warned him to protect my little brothers, fearing Mom might target them next. When Claire woke, her dad was there, sitting quietly in the living room. Their reunion was emotional. She apologized repeatedly, tears streaming, and he listened, his face a mix of pain and tentative hope. They had a long road ahead, but it was a start. Claire's history with her dad is a tangled mess. She was never a daddy's girl, always siding with Mom. When Mom had affairs, Claire helped cover them up, joining her on girls' trips that were just excuses for infidelity. She knew our little brothers weren't their dad's biological kids and still chose Mom during the divorce, even telling her dad she wished her stepdad was her real father. That betrayal cut deep, like a wound that never heals. And then there's Devon, my ex-boyfriend. When I was 17, I caught Mom sleeping with him. Devon, if you're watching this on Warth Stories, you're the human equivalent of Discord light mode, and I hope you're enjoying the gonorrhea Mom gave you. You got me into drugs at 14, and I hate you. Your big head and tiny arms can suck it. That's why Claire's dad distanced himself from her, though he still loves my little brothers, taking them on vacations and spending time with them. Eventually, he and my granddad decided it was best for my siblings to live with him, away from Mom's chaos. Before Claire left, I asked how she knew our address. She said Mom told her but didn't know how Mom got it. We reported the abuse Claire suffered, though Mom was cunning enough to leave no bruises. Surprisingly, she didn't go ballistic or try to take my brothers. Instead, she went silent, which was somehow worse. Silence from Mom wasn't peace. It was the calm before the storm. Now, on to the real nightmare. I'm keeping this part vague because legal proceedings are ongoing, but Mom and her cult-like followers, her toxic siblings and shady friends, knew our location the entire time. They were caught on camera setting my in-laws' house on fire, intending to kill us all. The only reason we're alive? We were having a slumber party at Elena's mom's, laughing over board games and popcorn when the flames started. There's a warrant out for Mom and her accomplices, but they've vanished. Her house is untouched, her belongings still there, but her social media and her siblings are gone. No one knows where they are. I'm terrified, not just for my children, but for myself and Elena. We still don't know who leaked our location or the photos of our kids to Mom. We've been following your advice from Warth Stories, feeding fake information to different people, but we haven't caught the traitor yet. I'm not the tough guy some of you think I am. I'm falling apart, drowning in fear and guilt. Nightmares haunt me. Mom stealing my kids, killing Elena, leaving me destitute. I've had multiple mental breakdowns, crying for no reason, reliving the trauma of my childhood. My in-laws are divided. Some blame me for the fire, saying I dragged them into my mess. They're not wrong. The pressure pushed me to a dark place, and I self-harmed, feeling like the 13-year-old me who couldn't escape Mom's chaos. Some even told Elena to divorce me, claiming I'm a liability. Her mom shut them down after I landed in the hospital, but the damage was done. My oldest brother-in-law and his wife are now on the brink of divorce, and I feel responsible for the rift. Elena has been my rock, handling everything while I'm barely functioning. She's 44, like me, and works on an art advisory committee, attending galas, events, and client meetings. It's part of her job to meet clients for coffee, lunch, or dinner, and I don't always know the details. That's normal, and I trust her judgment completely. She's always transparent about her friendships, professional to a fault. But tonight, she's at a gala with S, a wealthy client she met a year ago. They've become professional friends, and I met him once. He's a genuinely good guy. He invited her as his date to this gala, and she said it's fine, just business. I asked if she was actually going as a date, and she laughed, her eyes sparkling. Date doesn't always mean romantic, she said, explaining it's for networking and meeting new people. She smiled, teasing, if I get into this gala next time, I won't need S. I'll take you instead. She's been getting ready all day, picking her dress, doing her hair, perfecting her makeup, looking like a vision. She's sharing her live location, texting during breaks, and won't go to private places or his hotel after. She'll be back around midnight, maybe later, as these events sometimes run into the early morning. But I'm uneasy, and I've never felt this before. At 44, I'm not insecure. Elena would kill me if I went on a date with another woman, even platonically. I could pick a friend, even another woman to go out with. But I don't, out of respect for our marriage and love for her. It's about choices and sacrifices. I didn't stop her because I respect her career, but the image of her on another man's arm, shining under chandeliers, twists my gut. I trust her completely, but the thought lingers, like a splinter I can't pull out. Tonight, I'm coping hard, sitting in our quiet house, the only sound my daughter's soft snores. I might watch Home Alone to honor my dad, who passed away recently. Christmas without him will be brutal. We'd watch that movie, smoke a joint before our daughter, and stare at the tree lights, laughing at the simplest things. My birthday's on January 2nd, and I dread it without his lopsided cake and off-key singing. The next morning, I woke to the smell of coffee and Noah's soft coos. Elena was in the kitchen with our friend's daughter, Emily, making pancakes while Emily braided our daughter's hair. They were giggling, lost in their own world, and for a moment, life felt normal. But the weight of Mom's disappearance lingered like a storm cloud. I checked my phone, no updates from the police. The warrant was still active, but Mom was a ghost, slipping through their fingers like smoke. Claire texted me a photo of Noah, sleeping peacefully at her dad's. "Thank you for saving me," she wrote. I didn't feel like a savior. I felt like I'd failed her by not stepping in sooner. Growing up, I'd protected my siblings, but I'd given up on Claire, assuming she was too far gone. Now, seeing her vulnerability, I wondered if I'd misjudged her. Elena handed me a mug of coffee, her eyes soft. "You okay?" she asked. I shook my head, unable to lie. She pulled me into a hug, and I cried, the tears soaking her shirt. We'll get through this, she whispered. But the fear of Mom lurking, plotting her next move, was paralyzing. Later that day, my granddad called. He'd moved my little brothers to their dad's, far from Mom's reach. His voice was heavy, worn down by years of her chaos. I should have cut her off sooner, he said. Maybe none of this would have happened. I didn't know how to respond. Mom's destruction wasn't his fault, but I understood the guilt. It was the same guilt I carried, wondering if I'd enabled her by not cutting her out completely. Emily suggested baking cookies to distract ourselves, and I agreed, hoping the simple act would ground me. The kitchen filled with the smell of vanilla and laughter as my daughter sneaked bits of dough, her giggles echoing. Emily shared stories from high school, reminding me of simpler times when my biggest worry was passing algebra. For a few hours, I forgot the fear, the guilt, the nightmares. But when I went to bed, they returned. Mom's face, twisted with rage, her hands reaching for my children. The police called with an update. Mom's car was found abandoned in a parking lot, but no sign of her or her siblings. The investigation was ongoing, but leads were thin. They asked if I'd noticed anything unusual before the fire. I racked my brain, but Mom was always watching, always scheming. She'd known our address, our routines, even details about my kids. Someone was feeding her information, and the betrayal stung like a fresh wound. I started therapy with Dr. Ellis, a kind woman who let me be human. She didn't judge or push me to be strong. I was diagnosed with depression and started medication, but the fog in my mind didn't lift overnight. Elena attended sessions with me, learning how to support me without burning out. She was patient, even when I snapped or retreated into silence. But tonight, as she's at the gala, I'm alone with my thoughts, wrestling with this new unease. I keep checking my phone, waiting for her texts, picturing her laughing with S, her arm looped through his as they navigate the crowd. I hate that it bothers me. I trust her, but the jealousy is there, raw and uninvited. Christmas Eve arrived, and Dad's absence hit like a tidal wave. I sat by the tree, staring at the twinkling lights, wishing he were here to make a bad joke or sneak me his famous fudge. My daughter crawled into my lap, holding a drawing she'd made of us watching Home Alone. Can we watch it for Grandpa? She asked. I nodded, tears streaming as we cuddled on the couch, the familiar movie playing in the background. Elena joined us, her arm around me, and for the first time in weeks, I felt a flicker of hope. Claire called on Christmas Day, sounding stronger. She and her dad were working through their issues, and Noah was thriving. She thanked me again, promising to make things right. I told her to focus on herself and her son, that we'd figure out the rest together. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a start. The investigation into the fire continued, but answers were scarce. My in-laws were still divided, though Elena's mom's fierce defense of me had softened some of the tension. My oldest brother-in-law and his wife were in counseling, trying to salvage their marriage. I apologized, but they said their issues ran deeper than the fire. I wasn't sure I believed them, but I let it go. As my birthday approached, I dreaded the milestone. Dad had always made it special, baking a lopsided cake and singing off-key. This year, Elena planned a quiet celebration with Emily's family, keeping it low-key to avoid overwhelming me. They gave me a journal, encouraging me to write my thoughts, maybe even turn them into more stories for Warth stories. I wasn't ready to create again, but the idea planted a seed. Tonight, as Elena shines at the gala, I'm choosing trust over jealousy. I'll text her, maybe crack open a beer, and wait for her to come home, glowing with stories of the night. I'm still scared, still grieving, still fighting the darkness in my mind. But I'm not alone anymore. Elena, my daughter, Emily, even Claire, they're my anchors. Mom may be out there, plotting her next move, but I'm learning to lean on others, to let myself heal. It's slow, painful, and messy, but it's progress. I keep thinking about what love means, supporting Elena's ambition, even when it's hard, even when I'm jealous. It's about choices and sacrifices, Like choosing not to go out with another woman because I know it'd hurt her. I hope she comes home soon, her laughter filling the house, reminding me why we've built this life together. I'll be okay, even if tonight feels heavy. Thank you for listening to my story on Warth Stories. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and comment for my support. And don't forget to press the bell icon for more updates. Thank you.